Chapter 43, The Yellow Fighting Palace. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Liu Quanshan snorted, walking out with his hands behind his back, and said with a low voice, "Unfilial son, you have disgraced the Marshall Market Bank badly. Now, apologize to Miss Shan." Liu Chengfeng heard Liu Quanshan's words and turned around immediately. His face changed, completely lacking the haughtiness and arrogance of before. Father, I was just joking with Xiangling. I will apologize to her at once." Liu Chengfeng was so afraid of his father that he stuttered. Seeing him act like this, Liu Quanshan sighed within his mind. With his disappointment growing, he shook his head, and said, "Ninth Prince, I'm sorry that my unfilial son has made a fool of himself. Let's go to the Marshall Market Coliseum now." With Liu Quanshan leading the way, Zhang Yuochen, the ninth commandery princess, and Shan Xiangling arrived at the Marshall Market Coliseum shortly. The Marshall Market Coliseum was a sea of people. There were powerful warriors everywhere. There were also many warriors with little martial cultivation. They stood in the outer ring of the Coliseum to watch and learn from the more powerful ones. Liu Quanshan departed for the deepest palace in the Coliseum to handle some important business. As soon as he entered to the Marshall Market Coliseum, Zhang Yuochen, the ninth commandery princess, and Shan Xiangling entered the Yellow Fighting Palace. The Yellow Fighting Palace was an ancient, six-story amphitheater. Each story had 360 bleachers, and every bleacher provided a clear view of the battle in the center of the Coliseum. Whoever threw 10 silver coins could enter the Yellow Fighting Palace. Ninth brother, do you really want to fight? Your current cultivation is not strong enough. There is a huge gap between you and a warrior of yellow board. The ninth commandery princess said. The ninth commandery princess did not disparage Zhang Yuochen. She was just well aware of the ruthlessness of the Marshall Market Coliseum. No weak dared to battle in the Coliseum. Shan Xiangling added, I heard that warriors must sign a life and death agreement before they enter the Coliseum. Because all Coliseum warriors are crazy. They all want to become famous with one single battle, so they all fight so desperately. One tiny mistake, you may get hurt seriously or even die. That's right. Ninth brother, you'd better decide to fight when you've practiced to the completion of the Yellow Realm. You could ask father for money if you don't have enough to buy a weapon refining stove. For your talent, our father is willing to giving you 1 million silver coins. The ninth commandery princess suggested. Zhang Yuochen answered, we shall wait and see. At this moment, a warrior in his 30s entered the Coliseum. He carried a red, powerful-looking long spear in his hand and said, I'm the first disciple of Dan Suzerain, Ni Heng. It is my first time at the Yellow Fighting Palace. Who shall be my first opponent? Shan Xiangling said, I have heard of this Ni Heng before. He reached the completion of the Yellow Realm when he was 22. He has been in the completion of the Yellow Realm for 15 years. So he must be quite powerful. I think he may win 7 or 8 rounds in a row. There were countless suzerains and houses in the Kunlun's field. Some small suzerains only had dozens of disciples. Some of the huge suzerains had thousands of millions of disciples and ruled the martial arts world of dozens of commanderies. They were extremely powerful. Thus, the suzerains and the families were divided into 3 hierarchies and 9 levels. For example, the Red Cloud sect which Shan Xiangling belonged to and the Dan suzerain which Ni Heng belonged to were both the 7th level suzerains. Yunwu Commandery had 1 6th class suzerain, 5 7th class suzerains, 17 8th class suzerains, and countless 9th class suzerains. Every single suzerain was governed by official powers. If a suzerain did not submit, it would be treated like a cult and hunted down. Ninth commandery princess said, Ni Heng's cultivation is indeed strong, but there are more powerful warriors in the Warfare Palace. I predict he will win 6 rounds repeatedly at best. Shan Xiangling said, in that case, let's make a bet. Let's go. The ninth commandery princess and Shan Xiangling rushed to the highest bleacher of the Yellow Fighting Palace together to place bets. I bet 1,000 silver coins on Ni Heng winning 6 rounds in a row. The ninth commandery princess took out a spiritual crystal and placed it in a cell marked 6 on the betting table. I'll bet 500 silver coins on Ni Heng winning 8 rounds in a row. Shanxi Angling dropped a coin purse in a cell marked 8 on the betting table. Then I will bet on the middle number. Zhang Yuochen also became interested and placed a spiritual crystal in the cell marked 7. Because so many people had bet, a grand fortune could be acquired by winning every bet. Ni Heng was powerful enough that someone even had bet on him winning 10 rounds in a row and becoming a warrior of yellow board. Although it was a rare event, the one bold bet would win a massive sum if he succeeded. The first warrior who challenged Ni Heng looked like he had a cultivation in the final state of the Yellow Realm in his 40s. Boom! Ni Heng stood in the center of the Colosseum, sending the warrior falling down the Colosseum with only a single movement. Round 1, 1. Round 2, 1. Round 5, 1. Round 6, 1. The entire Yellow Fighting Palace cheered for Ni Heng during his 6th consecutive win. Their warriors watching from the bleachers shouted and yelled in a frenzied manner. It was an extraordinary event in the Yellow Fighting Palace when a warrior acquired a 6-win streak in one day. Ni Heng's possible opponents in the ongoing battle became more powerful. Only warriors who held a record of a 7-round winning streak in the Yellow Fighting Palace had the qualifications to challenge him upon reaching round 7. How could a weak warrior gain such a record in the Yellow Fighting Palace? Ni Heng had finally met a strong opponent in round 7. Huang Zhenlong, a warrior in the completion of the Yellow Realm, had a record of 3 different 7-round winning streaks. Unfortunately, he was defeated in round 8 each time. He was quite strong. Ni Heng had fought Huang Zhenlong for an hour before employing Snowflake Spear, a martial technique in the mid-class of human stage. This technique had punctured Huang Zhenlong's chest, seriously injuring him as he fell from the Colosseum. But Ni Heng had also suffered some damage from Huang Zhenlong, gaining an internal. There was a trace of blood falling from his mouth. At that moment, a man in his 20s approached to the Colosseum while holding a white folding fan in his hand, saying mildly, "You've got a severe injury. There's no chance that you can win 8 rounds in a row. Just throw in the towel." The battle was so cruel that it would not allow competitors any time to rest or heal their wounds. It simply continued. It was as difficult as to climb up to the sky if you wanted to get a 10 rounds winning streak. Although Ni Heng was quite powerful, his genuine chi was half empty after 7 rounds. Not to mention his severe injury. It was almost impossible for him to win round 8 in such a condition. Ni Heng gritted his teeth, staring back at the man with the folding fan, and said, "Who says I can't fight round 8? Who are you?" He, "I am Zhu Bingxing, from the minister's mansion. I have a record of 2 8-round winning streaks in the Yellow Fighting Palace." Zhu Bingxing smiled lightly, waving the folding fan in his hand. "Let's fight." Ni Heng galvanized the rest of his genuine chi and poured it into the long spear. The spear coalesced an ardent light instantly, then he thrust it at Zhu Bingxing. Boom! In just the blink of an eye, Zhu Bingxing disappeared. Zhu Bingxing practiced a footwork technique in the superior class of the human stage. In a flash, he reappeared in front of Ni Heng. With a wave of his folding fan, Ni Heng's head flew away with a spray of blood. Zhu Bingxing glared at the corpse and said, "I had told you to surrender, but you didn't listen, fool." A strong warrior in the completion of the Yellow Realm just died inside the Colosseum like that. Ni Heng's junior brother and sister apprentices rushed to the Colosseum, crying all along the entire time they carried his body down. There was nothing that could have been done. Ni Heng had signed the life and death agreement when he first challenged the Colosseum. There were several people who died in the Yellow Fighting Palace every day. No one would be shocked. In fact, the main reason was Zhu Bingxing was too stronger than Ni Heng, that Ni Heng did not have a chance to concede before Zhu Bingxing killed him. Alas, knowing the huge gap between them, he was still too stubborn to concede. Life is far more important than becoming famous. The 9th Commandery Princess said, sighing. Shanxi Angling shook her head slightly, and said, according to Ni Heng's talent, he could have been a warrior of the Black Realm after 10 years of cultivation. A lot of warriors with great talents fall just like that. Wow! 9th brother, you've won the bet. Go and check your bounty. The 9th Commandery Princess exclaimed. It was just a lucky guess. Zhang Yuochen had just bet casually. He did not think he would win. Although Ni Heng had died in the Colosseum, he gained a 7-round winning streak. Zhang Yuochen had put 1 spiritual crystal on the bet and won 8 in return. It's about time. I will try my luck in the Colosseum. Zhang Yuochen signed the life and death agreement and paid a spiritual crystal. Then he walked to the Colosseum. Ninth brother, I know I can't stop you, but you must promise me that you will concede at once if you face someone you can't defeat. The 9th Commandery Princess said with concern. The 9th Commandery Princess believed that Zhang Yuochen had simply wanted to get into the spirit of the Colosseum, rather than being involved in an actual fight. With the cultivation at the medium state of the Yellow Realm, his was even less than Ni Heng's. He could win 3 consecutive rounds at the most. Relax. I know my limits. Zhang Yuochen smiled lightly. He walked step by step to the Colosseum, looking quite at ease. The moment he reached the Colosseum, the Yellow Fighting Palace clamored. Who's that boy? How dare he to fight in the Yellow Fighting Palace at such a young age? Maybe he wants to become famous. Dozens of reckless boys die here every month. Big deal. At this moment, Liu Chengfeng stood at a high bleacher of the Yellow Fighting Palace, staring down at Zhang Yuochen. He showed a ferocious smile and said, "Ha ha. You choose a path to hell instead of the path of heaven. If you die in the Colosseum, even the Yunwu Commander Prince could say nothing about it.